I've gone back to the day I married Evelyn, 1989, the 8th day of the first lunar month.
Arthur, it's not too late. Let's call off the engagement. Sarah, let's go home.
Arthur, if you don't add a new fishing boat as engagement money today, forget about this wedding. A single boat's not enough. You also need to add $2,000 as an arrival gift. A pair of gold earrings, not a penny less. Forget about this engagement.
That's right. My daughter's this pretty. Is she supposed to starve after marrying him if the engagement money's not enough? No way.
Victor, that's way too much. Everyone knows Arthur's situation. He can't afford it.
Shut up, Clara. Since you're my friend, whose side are you on?
Can he afford it or not? If he can't, he can get out of the Thorne family.
Evelyn, what's your relationship with Victor? Everyone in the village knows. You go to the market together on holidays. You hang out at the dock warehouse till midnight. You think everyone in the village is blind?
You're lying. Victor and we have a purely platonic friendship.
Arthur, Evelyn and I are completely innocent. How can you slander us like that?
Fine. Then do you two dare to seek divine guidance right here? If the divine blocks prove you innocent, then I, Arthur, will kneel down right now and bow 100 times to you. Do you dare? You don't dare. Then this engagement, I'm calling it off.
You broke loser. What about the engagement money you promised? Trying to cheat us?
Engagement money? That accomplishment in your sister's belly can't be credited to me. This wedding reception should be left for the one who actually did the deed. I'm not going to be the patsy.
Arthur, bullshit. You're lying about me. I hope you never find a wife, you sunless loser.
Clara, I've been a jerk all these years. The whole world told me it was a mistake, and I still jumped into the fire. That day at the docks, you told me to turn back. I was blind and ignored you. Today, I, Arthur, am turning back. Marry me, Clara. I have nothing now, but I promise you. In this life, I only want you.
Clara, you little bitch. Now I see why you're on his side. So you've been secretly seducing him all along.
Evelyn, stop acting crazy.
Arthur, are you sick?
Yes. I've been sick for over 20 years. I just got cured today.
I do.
Victor Vance and Evelyn Thorne. You owe my family a blood debt. In this life, I'll make you pay 1,000 times over.
How does he know about this?
I don't know. I'm only a little over a month along. I just found out myself. I haven't even told my mom.
Dad, that Arthur broke off the engagement and slapped me in the face publicly. I'll make the Davis family disappear from this fishing village. From now on, not a single pound of their fish is getting into our seafood station.
Arthur, tell me the truth, son. Have you really made up your mind? Why the sudden change of heart? Wanting to marry Clara?
Dad, don't you like Clara as your daughter-in-law?
I do. How could I not? That girl has been coming to our house since she was little. Kind-hearted and hard-working. I'm just afraid that you still have that stubborn streak, and you'll wrong her.
As long as you don't think about the Thorne family and that awful woman, I'll be able to sleep soundly at night.
Mom, from now on, our family will stick together. No one will ever bully us again.
Arthur, let's catch more fish today. Sell them for money. Go to town and buy Clara a decent pair of gold earrings. She's waited for you all these years. We can't treat our future daughter-in-law poorly.
Come on, let's step it up today, father and son. We've got to get our future daughter-in-law the best welcome gift.
Uncle Pete, Director Vance has announced that from now on, none of the Davis family's fish will be accepted at the seafood station, not a single pound.
Why? Our whole family depends on that fish to survive.
Offended someone and you don't even know it. Ask your capable son.
You publicly slandered Evelyn. Apologize and pay $5,000 in emotional distress compensation. $1 less, and today I will tear down this rundown house of yours.
Victor, you know very well if that was slander, not a single cent. Get out.
Hey, hey, hey.
Stop fighting.
Old lady, get out of the way.
Mom.
A 104-degree fever. A hematoma from a blow to the back of the head. It's pressing on a nerve. This can't wait. Gotta lower her blood pressure with meds right now, otherwise she might not make it.
Dr. Brown, please save her. I'll pay the bill right away. Hey.
Dr. Brown. That Davis kid's at your clinic, right? Listen up, my dad controls all the medicine distribution in town. Raise that old hag's deposit to $500, not a cent less. Or your clinic is done for.
Arthur, the situation has changed. This med is in short supply now. It's 500 total for the deposit and meds.
500? Dr. Brown just said 50, didn't he? In this backwater, what family can scrape together $500?
Victor made that phone call, didn't he? He's trying to buy my mother's life with that 500. Victor, you want to play? I'll play to the end.
Arthur, what are you going to do? Don't do anything stupid, okay?
Sarah, watch Mom. $500. I'll be back in 2 hours. 1989. That stretch of sea hasn't been developed yet. Nobody knows that under these reefs, there's an opportunity. Victor, what you don't know is that the ocean is my lifeline.
Ain't that the Davis family's jilted poor kid?
The Vance family said they won't take his fish anymore. He's at his wit's end. Came ashore to put on a show.
Look at yourself, Arthur. You're still wet behind the ears trying to open oysters. These oysters in the sea ain't toys for playing house. Get the hell home. Stop making a fool of yourself. You're messing with our dock business.
Look at those skinny arms and legs. You think he can pry open a 10-year-old oyster? He's probably just messing with us.
Kid, not only are you unlucky, you've got no eye for this.
This old oyster shell's incredibly hard.
Don't hurt yourself now. You'll end up at the clinic. Just give up, will ya? Stop embarrassing yourself.
I'm opening my oyster. It's none of your business.
Off to a bad start. This is what they mean by God not putting food on the table. Look at this pile of mud. Just like your hopeless broke life. I thought...
You actually found a treasure. Look at this net of rotten oysters. Even the pigs would turn their noses up at the stench.
Young folks always so full of themselves.
Yeah.
This area's been picked clean.
No way you'd find anything.
Tawny pearls. Take this to town.
You couldn't even get a loaf of bread for it.
Hey, Arthur, your mom's at the clinic waiting for the life-saving money, and you're here fooling with this junk. Do you want her to pass away faster? Ha ha ha. Get lost. You really plan to stick with this pile of rocks, just waiting to die? What happened to that knack for calling off engagements? Why aren't you so tough now? Turns out you only know how to hide behind women and open rotten oysters.
Wait, a perfectly round white pearl.
This luster, it's a top-grade southern pearl.
Perfectly round white pearls and rare pink pearls. This luster, it's worth at least $400 or $500.
I'll take this one. I'll give 600.
600? You think I'm a beggar? I'll give 800. Young man, I'm from the jewelry store in town. Here's the money. Take it and give me the pearl.
Deal.
This kid hit the jackpot. He just made $800. That's enough to save his life. He pulled out one pearl, and now he thinks he's the king of the sea. Arthur, take this $800 and get out. Go buy a coffin for your mother.
Wait, the biggest one hasn't been opened yet.
Are you crazy, kid? That was a gift from God, and you think you'll get another one?
Greed's never enough. This last shell is practically rotten. If there's a pearl in there, I'll eat this concrete floor on the spot. Who do you think you are, opening oysters? You don't know a damn thing, kid. Stop making a fool of yourself. You're wasting everyone's time.
Gold! A natural golden southern pearl!
I'll give you 1,000. Sell it to me.
I'll pay 2,000 in cash.
I'll pay 3,000.
I'll pay 5,000. Arthur, 5,000 for that pearl of yours. That's enough to build a fancy house in town. Victor, something big happened. Arthur found a golden southern pearl. The whole town is scrambling for it.
Golden pearl. Not for sale. Victor, you've cut off my livelihood. Then I'll use this golden pearl to break your deadlock. This pearl will make your whole family pay for it with everything they have.
Sarah, your loser brother is probably hiding somewhere crying. Your mom's cerebral hemorrhage can't be treated without money. But I can't help you. Come with me. I'll not only get Dr. Brown to operate, but also send a car to take your mom to the county.
Victor! You're a monster.
Don't be ungrateful. Why did your mom fall like that? It's because Arthur jinxed her. If you want to save her, you'll have to do it my way.
Victor.
Arthur, you dare hit me? I'll have your whole family out of Port Town by tomorrow.
The rigged scales at the seafood station. And the shady goods your old man moves on the side. You think no one knows? If I tell the county, the Vance family won't even get a chance to go to prison.
How does he know about this? This is my old man's dirtiest dealings. That broke loser Arthur. Where did he get the info? This.
Get my mom some fever meds right now.
Arthur, you just wait. We'll see.
In my past life, when mom collapsed, she never woke up. In this life, I bought back my life for $800. But the Vance family cut off the fish supply chain. Dad's old wooden boat could barely feed the whole family. How can I give Clara a home? This pearl can be sold for $5,000. $5,000. An ordinary fisherman would have to work 2 years to earn that. If I just spend it, it's dead money. But if I invest it, 1989, that's the spring when Palm City became a province. Others see a poor fishing village, but I see a 30-year wealth roadmap. Clara, I'm leaving Mom with you and Sarah. Tomorrow morning, I have to go out.
Where to?
To make money for you, for my mom, for the whole family, to earn a real future.
Go ahead. I'll take care of things here.
Young man, if you're willing to take this pearl to South Bay, you could get at least 1,000 more. You really want to sell it now?
I'll pass on the extra 1,000. 5,000? Cash, I need it right now. Tomorrow there will be a batch of ocean-going vessels returning from South Sands. Because of a freezer breakdown, they're short on ice. Grouper that sells for $6. We'll drop to $2.50. The day after tomorrow, when South Bay Grand Restaurant opens and grabs the supply, the price will skyrocket to $15. In my past life, I watched others get rich. This time, this first pot of gold is mine.
Damn it, the freezer pick's now to break down. All the stock on the boat is going to be a total loss.
Dr. Brown, I'll take all your grouper. $2.50 a pound.
Who are you? Over 2,000 pounds of grouper. Can you handle that?
Count the cash.
250 it is. Better than letting it rot. Move the fish, quick.
Where's the grouper? The opening banquet's starting soon. You're telling me that all the grouper in South Bay got snatched up by someone else. Manager Leo said that all the stock in the province has been booked by a big client. If we try to grab it now, it's too late. If tonight's opening banquet bombs, we're all gonna get fired. If you can't get the fish back, you'll pay with your life. Where the hell did this junk car come from? Get lost. Don't block the way.
Manager Jones, I heard you're in urgent need of high-quality grouper.
These, the scales are still shiny. All top quality just off the boat.
$15, I'll take all of them. Young man, your catch saved my life.
Victor, you want to cut off my livelihood? You have no idea. The wind from 1989 blowing in is all gold.
This is all true.
This is all from selling grouper.
Luck's just part of it. Dad, the Vance family cut off our route, then we'll do it ourselves.
Okay. Tomorrow I'll head out to sea. I'll try to bring in £200 first.
Arthur, your changes these past few days? If Mom sees them, she'll wake up for sure.
Arthur, man, you're way too fast. The way you debone and skin is faster than a 20-year veteran worker at the seafood station. When'd you learn that?
Yeah, Arthur. You've hated the fishy smell since you were a kid. You used to slack off, even gutting a fish. What's gotten into you these days? This kind of knife skill takes at least 10 years. You can't just pick it up.
Dad, it's called necessity is the mother of invention. I was just lazy before. Now the Vance family wants our whole family dead. If I don't speed up, we're done for. Dad, don't just stand there. Get these groupers on ice and pack them. Tom is leaving this afternoon. Put all the mixed fish into the large vats. Adjust the salt ratio to 10-1. Lay them out neatly to dry.
I used to think he'd never grow up, but now look at him. With his skills at gutting and salting fish, he's truly become the backbone of the family.
Uncle Pete, Arthur has finally wised up. The salt ratio and packaging method he figured out. I looked them up in a book. This way of processing keeps the fish freshest. It can sell for a high price in South Bay.
In my past life, I worked at the seafood processing plant for 8 years, from fish gutter all the way to factory manager. This work is etched into my bones.
Arthur, it's a deal. The restaurant owner took one look at the goods and agreed, paying cash on delivery.
Arthur, if we sell this fish to you, can you really offer 20% more than the seafood station?
Folks, as long as the goods are good, I, Arthur, pay cash on the spot. I won't lowball you. After processing, I'll ship them to South Bay. We'll split the profits.
But Director Vance has made it clear, if anyone does business with you, the seafood station won't take a single pound of their fish from now on. We don't dare take that risk.
I heard it was a couple days ago he got a batch of grouper from somewhere. Made a few $1,000s. Now even Clara has gone over to do his books.
I told you he's no ordinary man. The way he looked at me on the day of the annulment, it was like looking at a dead man. He's ruthless. You underestimated him.
Dad, put the word out. Anyone who sells fish to Arthur from now on, our seafood station won't accept a single pound of their fish. I don't think anyone in this town would be stupid enough to risk going hungry for that little money.
The Vance family moved faster than I expected. The supply chain is cut off. With just my dad's boat, the processing business won't last 3 days. I remember Old Man Miller isn't on good terms with Victor.
Don't come to me. I may not get along with the Vance family, but I have dozens of family members depending on these boats to feed their families. Where did you learn that netcasting technique? You're even slicker than an old man like me who's been at it for 40 years.
Uncle Pete, how much does the Vance family pay you per pound of fish?
Grouper $4, mixed fish $1.20.
I'll give you $6 for grouper, $2 for mixed fish. All cash, no credit.
$6? Kid, where do you get the guts?
The Vance family lowballs you because if you leave their seafood station, you'd starve. But I have a direct supply channel to South Bay. The profit is 3 times as high. Uncle Pete, if you don't fight back today, next year he'll push the price down to $3.50. The year after, $3.
Until he sucks you dry. That South Bay channel of yours, is it really reliable?
Tomorrow's shipment, think of it as me showing you how it's done, Uncle Pete. If we make a profit, it's yours. If we lose, it's all on me.
Deal. After being pushed around by the Vance family for so many years, I want to stand tall for once. When the boat comes back tomorrow, all the fish is yours. Uncle Pete, that Arthur of yours is something else. All my life, I've only worked for the Vances. First time I feel this fish was killed for me.
I'm old, can't keep up with his thinking, but that grit of his seems to run in the Davis family.
In my past life, the people of this fishing village spent their whole lives under the Vance family's thumb. No one dared to resist, but actually, it wasn't that they feared the Vances. They had no other way out. What I need to do is give them another path.
Where did this truckload of fish come from? Which channel? Do you have a market access permit?
What access permit? I'm just delivering. Several restaurants are waiting urgently.
No permit, no entry. That's the rule in South Bay. Mr. Sterling's rule. Drive it away.
Hey boss, cut me some slack. The sun's too harsh. If the ice melts, this load is ruined.
Do you not understand me? No entry means no entry. If you're so tough, tell your boss to talk to Mr. Sterling.
Tom, don't panic. Watch the fish and don't let the ice melt. I'm coming over now. In my past life, I dealt with this guy for 10 years. He's a smart businessman. He controls most of South Bay's seafood distribution. Victor bringing him in means the Vances are panicking, but it also means from now on, our opponents have stepped up their game.
I'll go with you.
Arthur, what now? They won't let us in the market. This is our first batch with Uncle Pete.
Arthur, maybe we should lower the price and sell this batch cheap to the roadside eateries.
Mr. Sterling isn't betting on a truckload of fish. He's cutting off my brand new supply chain, 400 pounds of fish, and every fisherman in the village is watching. If we screw this up, Old Man Miller won't trust me, and no one else will follow.
Arthur, follow me. This shop over here, I spotted it during a delivery a few days ago. Every noon, thousands of workers walk right past here. Rent's $120 a month. I asked the grocery next door, and they said we can get the keys now.
This alley in my past life 3 years from now will be the hottest seafood street in South Bay. The guy who started it with just a small shop made his first million. Thousands of workers pass by here every noon. They've got money but no time. With fresh, cheap fish right at their door, who'd bike to the market? Clara found a golden location, and she doesn't even know how valuable it is. We're taking this shop. Tom, go buy 4 big ice blocks and crush them up. Then borrow a long table from next door, 2 big basins, and a scale. Hurry, the fish won't wait.
Got it.
Your knife skills are amazing. Kid, which big restaurant are you from? You must be the head chef.
I'm not a chef, I'm a fisherman. I grew up cleaning fish on a boat. Folks, press this piece of meat with your finger. See that? It springs right back.
That's what we call bounce back fish. It means it was caught early this morning, gutted fresh from the sea.
If it's yesterday's dead fish, pressing it leaves a dent. It doesn't bounce back at all.
When you buy fish at the market, how many out of 10 bounce back?
Grouper is $8 a pound.
8? The market sells it for at least 12. Is this for real?
When you spend $12 on a fish at the market, 6 of that goes to the middleman. Our fish sister seafood is direct from the fishing village. We go out at dawn, and it's in your hands by noon. No one else touches it, so it's only $8.
I'll take 2.
I want a grouper too, and add a pound of dried shrimp.
Coming right up. Hold on. Buddy, you live in the dorms. Do you have a big pot?
No big pot, just a hot plate and a small aluminum pot.
All right, watch this. When you get home, turn on the hot plate, boil water, steam it for 10 minutes. Don't add any seasoning, just eat it.
You even prepped the seasoning for me?
Just a little fisherman's trick.
Boss, this is so convenient. Do the same for me. No washing, no cutting. Take it home and steam it.
Okay, add $1 for labor. Tell me what flavor you want. In my past life, this was called pre-made meals. 30 years later, it's a multi-billion-dollar massive market. But in 1989 in South Bay, all I have to do is think one step ahead of everyone else. Then I'll rip Mr. Sterling's blockade to pieces.
Hey kid, your fish is fresh and top quality. Can you supply them every day? Our machinery plant cafeteria.
We have over 200 people to feed each day. I can go out to sea before dawn every day, process in the morning, and have it at your cafeteria door before noon, guaranteed. Grouper, mixed fish, prawns, you name it. I'll catch whatever you want. My price is 25% less than what you're paying now.
Deal. Tomorrow morning, bring 20 pounds of grouper and 10 pounds of mixed fish to the Plant 1 kitchen. If the head chef gives the green light, we'll get all our supplies from you.
No problem. But I've got one condition. The cafeteria manager at the State Electronics factory next door, he's an old classmate of yours, right? Can you set up a meeting?
Kid, you even know about that? All right, as long as your stuff's good.
Clara, did you count it? Why that face?
Arthur, $3,200 in cash after deducting change, transport, and ice. Just this afternoon, we cleared over $1,000. Over $1,000 in one afternoon. Every word he said to the workers sounded like he'd practiced it 1,000,000 times. What other tricks does he have up his sleeve?
Did you impound Arthur's truck?
Mr. Sterling, something's changed. Arthur didn't force his way into the market. In an alley in the East Side Factory District, he rented a stall. He did a live fish cutting show right on the street. In one afternoon, he raked in over $3,000. Even the big order from the machinery plant cafeteria, he signed it on the spot.
What? A rundown stall on a street corner and he made over $3,000 in one afternoon?
His fish is super fresh and his price is a full 30% cheaper than the market we control. He even helped the workers by prepping all the seasoning. At this rate, all the factory kitchens in the East will probably be taken over by him.
Keep a close eye on him. Starting tomorrow, how much stock he brings in, who he meets, his revenue, write every single thing down. Let's see, in South Bay's waters, who's the real dragon?
Arthur, today, a bunch of workers gathered outside the shop to look, but in the end they just shook their heads and didn't buy. They said they live in dorms every day and cooking fish is too much hassle. If only there was some kind of seafood that you could just open and eat with no cooking needed.
No cooking, just open and eat. Isn't this just like the pre-prepared dishes worth hundreds of billions of dollars and ready to eat seafood 30 years from now? Guess it's time to get to work. Every single fish, zero waste. Every part, I'll turn it into cold hard cash, even the stock base.
Arthur, when did your brain get so scary smart?
Sarah, here's what I want you to do. Take that basket from home of small silverfish meant for the chickens and bring it all out. Add sea salt and white pepper, stir fry on high until crispy. Pack them into small paper packets. We need to make 100 packets tonight.
Can we really sell 100?
Tomorrow morning, I promise they'll be gone. Clara, let's gather all the leftover fish scraps, mix in chili, fermented black beans, and aged garlic, then fire up the big pot and make fish sauce. Tomorrow, put up a sign outside the shop. Free samples.
Boss, you've dressed it up all fancy. Ginger, scallion, and garlic all prepared. This fish pack, just steam it in an electric cooker when you get home. It's really delicious.
You're not using old fish, are you? Young man, take one home and try it. If it's not good, you can flip my stall. Good or not isn't about talk. Taste buds don't lie. Clara, bring that mixed fish sauce we just braised. Give this young man a spoonful to try.
Sir, try it and see if it's fresh. One taste will tell.
This flavor is so fresh. The ginger, scallion, and garlic really soak into it. There's no fishy smell at all. It's absolutely amazing. Boss, give me 3 bottles of this sauce. No, 5 bottles. Those gluttons in my dorm will definitely fight over it. Is it really that good? Move aside, move aside. Let me try 2. Give me 2 bottles of fish sauce. My dorm buddies, they all eat this with rice. I want 3 fish packs. No need to cook, just steam directly. I'm being lazy today too.
I also want 2 packs of dried silverfish to take back for my old man as a snack to go with drinks.
Word of mouth is the best advertising. Once you take that free tasting step, let this simple truth bypass the middleman and directly win over fish eaters' taste buds. Mr. Sterling's blockade will become a complete joke.
Arthur, total revenue is $5,600 and net profit is $3,500. This is highway robbery.
This is just the beginning. Starting tomorrow, we'll increase silverfish jerky to 300 packs and 20 jars of fish paste. Also, Tom, you're coming with me to Eastside tomorrow. We're going to secure a second storefront.
A new store? Where are we going to get such a steady supply of live fish for processing?
When we go back to the village tonight, you'll see. The silver bracelet the Thorne family returned on our engagement day, I threw it away. This seashell isn't worth much, but it's clean and brand new.
Arthur, these past few days, it seems like there's nothing in this world you don't already know. You can pull off any big deal. Sometimes when I look at you, I feel scared. You're so unlike the Arthur I used to know.
Her intuition is too sharp. She's close to figuring out my rebirth secret, but I can't say anything. Clara, when a person is backed into a corner, any potential can be forced out. I just never want to see you, my mom or my sister, live even half a day in fear and misery because of me anymore.
Arthur, the whole town's buzzing, saying you were in South Bay these past 2 days and made a clean $5,000. Is that true or not?
Uncles and elders, it's true.
Arthur.
Those guys at the Vance Seafood Station have been squeezing us for a lifetime.
Can we follow you from now on?
Alright, we'll follow Arthur too.
If you all trust me, then sell all your fish to me from now on. The price compared to the Vance family's written terms will be a full 20% higher, cash on the spot, no credit ever.
I, Old Man Miller, stake my decades of reputation on it. Arthur is a solid worker. Follow him, ship today, and you can count your cash today. Everyone, stop being little punks for the Vances.
Sarah, take the empty room on the west side of our house, clear it out, and use it as a processing plant. Hire the village women tonight to cut fish, fry silverfish, and make sauce. Our Davis family's supply chain starts full operation tonight.
Master Victor, we've got a big mess. Not only did Arthur pull in a whopping $5,600 in revenue in South Bay today,
He also whipped up silverfish jerky and pre-made fish packets.
selling like crazy, even more than fresh fish. Now even the 2 Eastside state-owned factory kitchens are signing long-term supply contracts with him.
A little punk I had trampled into the mud in just 6 days can generate $5,600 a day in revenue. You, get out. Mr. Sterling, that Arthur Davis kid has already established himself in South Bay. We can't just watch anymore. We must immediately destroy his livelihood.
Just look at Clara's little innocent act. No parents, no manners, figures. She used to act all high and mighty, and now she's stealing her best friend's man.
Clara, Evelyn's been spreading rumors about you all over the village. Now those women at the processing plant are all giving us dirty looks and won't even talk to us. I'm so pissed.
Yeah, I know, Sarah. Arthur, does he know about this?
He went to Eastside to deliver goods and hasn't come back to the village yet. I haven't told him yet. Clara, don't listen to those gossipy women. I totally believe you.
I'm fine, Sarah. I gotta go. Arthur, the villagers call me a little punk. They say I'm shameless.
Do you care?
I'd be lying if I said I didn't. I grew up in this village. No parents, it was just Grandma and Evelyn. Now Evelyn leads the insults, and everyone else joins in, bad-mouthing me behind my back. Arthur, did I really do something wrong?
Clara, back when I was a jerk and you called out to me at the docks to turn back, I completely ignored you. Even with the whole village laughing at you, you helped me so many times. You never doubted yourself because you knew everything you did was right. It's the same now. You used all your savings to open a shop with me. Because you believed in me, that I could give you a good life. Evelyn is slinging mud in the village. Because she lost. She lost completely. She can only use her mouth to save face.
Arthur, when did you become so good with words?
After dying once and bearing my soul, it just comes naturally.
What time will the fish arrive tomorrow?
At 5 a.m. sharp.
Then I'll open at 4:30. The more she wants me to fail, the more I'll earn and make her green with envy. Arthur. Someone sent this early this morning. Who's Marcus? In the past couple of days, we haven't offended anyone named Marcus.
The biggest seafood wholesaler in South Bay, Vance Seafood Station's real boss behind the scenes.
So you're going? He must be doing this because we stole the customers from those 3 factory cafeterias. He's setting a trap.
I'll go. If I don't, he'll come to us anyway. Going there, at least publicly, lets me, Arthur, show respect to Mr. Sterling.
Arthur, you're young and capable. In just a few days, with nothing but your bare hands, you've dug deep roots in Eastside South Bay. That's not easy.
Mr. Sterling, you're too kind. Just small time. In front of a big seafood player like you, it's really nothing.
Small time? You're too modest, Arthur. This small time of yours is snatched away from my market stall, the 3 factory cafeterias I've held for 3 years. Arthur, the rules in South Bay have been set for 30 years. Who buys, who sells, which channels to use, the accounts are locked tight. A green kid from a fishing village skipping the seafood station and wholesale market, going direct yourself. What do you think others will think?
Mr. Sterling, are the rules you're talking about how the Vance family at the seafood station forces fishermen to sell for $2.50 fish that are worth $6 and resells them for $15 in South Bay?
It's good for a young man to have drive, but do you believe that with one phone call from me tomorrow you won't be able to renew your shop, buy a single fresh fish, and as for a piece of crushed ice from the Eastside Ice Factory, you won't be able to buy that either?
Mr. Sterling, you can cut off my ice supply, but you can't cut off my ocean. The creatures in the sea are a gift from God. His last name isn't Sterling, and it certainly isn't Vance. Besides, Mr. Sterling, you've been in business in South Bay for 30 years. Your reputation is your lifeline. But if someone in the county finds out that in Warehouse 3 in Eastside you've been quietly hiding a stash of shady goods, do you think your reputation and your head will still be safe? Of course, I'm not here for trouble. You run your traditional wholesale channels, I'll do my direct retail supply, we each go our own way. But if you insist on siding with a scumbag like Victor to crush me, Arthur Davis, then that's no way to do business.
Interesting. Very interesting. Kid, deep down, you're not a fisherman at all.
I'll see you in the business world, Mr. Sterling.
Mr. Sterling, that kid is way too cocky. He even found out about the secret of Warehouse 3. Want me to send someone tonight?
Not yet. Don't touch him. That kid's got some expert behind him. Keep a close eye on him. Let's see what he can still stir up in South Bay waters and what new tricks he can pull.
Arthur, you left the South Bay store all to Clara. Clara is just a young woman. How can she handle such a big operation?
Dad, rest easy. The South Bay store has been running smoothly for a while. Now she can handle it all by herself. I rushed back last night to push forward our big, long-term family plan, Southern Pearl Cultivation.
Forget about pearl farming for now. Uncle Pete, look at that. The waves are huge here. They can flip small boats. We usually steer clear of this place. Down below, it's absolutely packed with all clinging to the rocks, huge wild oysters.
I've fished these waters half my life. If it weren't for Arthur leading the way, who'd dare steer a boat into these killer currents?
Dad, Uncle Pete, these waters have strong currents and lots of reefs. Most folks wouldn't dare come here. But because the water here is so rough and the salt content is high, the pearls grown here are the best in all of Palm City.
You actually know about pearl farming? You, a punk? Even the techs from the big county plants couldn't make it work. Where'd you pick up all this?
Dad, come check this out. This oyster's mantle is a full 2 millimeters thick. That means it's secreting nacre at full speed. The raised patterns on its shell are so deep, showing that in its natural state, it's already forming a natural pearl nucleus. If we insert the nucleus precisely and control temp and salinity, we'll have pearls in 18 months to 2 years.
2 millimeters. Nucleus insertion. Uncle Pete, your boy here. Wendy learned from the Dragon King how to read oysters like this. I've lived 60 years, been out at sea my whole life, never heard of such a thing.
In my past life, I started from scratch at the farm, handled tens of thousands of oysters, ruined countless batches of pearls before I figured out how to produce the best pearls. This time I can skip all the detours.
Arthur, this big bamboo bundle tied like this, will it really work? It's as heavy as a dead pig. Let go and it'll sink to the bottom. Don't worry.
Work it tight.
It won't sink. Tom, use a dead knot on the rope. The floats at all 4 corners need to be secured tight. Once the wood absorbs water, it becomes more pliable. No matter how big the waves, it won't tip over.
Uncle Pete, tighten those net cages. These wild mother oysters are very delicate. If their shells get cracked, they can't produce pearls.
Don't worry, old man Miller. I'll sell everything I've got to keep Arthur's plan afloat.
In my past life, I wasted 30 years on this sea, fishing and selling fish. The Vance family always undercut me. Exploited by Mr. Sterling. Spent my whole life bowing and working for others. This time, this sea is my ranch. In 3 years, these oysters will produce the best southern pearls in all of Palm City. By then, the Vance and Sterling families combined won't be worth a second glance. But 3 years is too long. Before the pearls are ready, I need the seafood shop and processing plant to keep making money to sustain this operation. But Victor and Mr. Sterling will never give me 3 peaceful years. A storm's coming soon.
Hurry up. Cut all these main ropes. Sink all his oyster cages to the bottom.
Someone's charging from the shore.
Move it.
Where'd these thieves come from? I'll skin you alive today.
Forget him. The cable's broken. Fire up the engine and go.
Who's there? Open your eyes and look. Whose turf do you think this is? Old man Miller, ram 'em head on.
You little thief, I'll gut you today and throw you in the sea to feed the fish.
Big boat's coming. Let's move.
Dad, what are you doing here? Uncle Pete, why are you with him?
You're out here all alone on night watch. You think I could rest easy? Since 2 nights ago, old man Miller and I have been behind the docks. We put up a straw shed, taking turns watching every night, never blinking. And we got 'em today.
Dad, I thought I was alone.
A grown man crying like that? Have some backbone. Acting like a woman. Did you fix the floats? Did we lose the mother oysters?
Fixed them. Got most of them. Losses aren't too bad.
Good. Tomorrow, head to town. Reinforce every rope. Get the thickest in town. Corrosion-proof wire rope.
Got it.
I'll pay for the ropes. Arthur!
Look at those ships over 10 meters long. Those huge steel vessels. And our 3 little wooden boats, they're like ants under an elephant's foot.
My heart's pounding.
What's wrong with ants? No matter how thick an elephant's skin is, enough ants can chew right through it. Our little boats turn fast and have a shallow draft. When we reach the reef waters, those big ships can't get in. They'll just stare helplessly.
Come back soon, Arthur. I've got the shop in South Bay covered. Today's the first catch of the season. I'm waiting for your fresh grouper to cook.
Don't worry, just watch from the shore. Once we haul in the net today, you'll be counting money till your hands cramp.
Arthur, it's time. Don't mind those troublemakers on shore. Keep your eyes on the sea and steer.
Wait for me.
Arthur, with these 3 pieces of junk wood, you really have the nerve to show off? And you're trying to farm pearls? Careful, or instead of farming pearls, you and your junk boats will sink into the sea to feed the fish.
Victor, don't give me that crap. If you're so tough, get off the boat.
Tom, steady your boat. A dog barks at the waves.
When do the waves ever listen to a dog? Arthur, who are you calling a dog? You asking for it?
Victor, the first net of the fishing festival is the most important. Careful, the wind's too strong. You'll pull up a net full of trash. Just wait and see, just you wait.
Victor, why waste your breath on some broke fisherman, Mr. Sterling said. After today on this sea, he won't be able to act tough anymore.
Victor, go ahead and laugh. When my first batch of Southern Pearls comes up, you won't even have the right to kneel before me and cry.
Arthur, the waves are getting rough ahead. Which direction should we head?
Dad, full speed ahead to the reef waters. Down there lies our whole family's chance to turn things around. Today, let's get a lucky start. This is my first fishing festival since I was reborn. 15 days ago, I had nothing. Now I've got the East Side shop. I've got 3 loyal brothers. I've got a growing pearl farm. I've got fishermen starting to trust me. And a woman who trusts me with her life. This is just the beginning.
Ms. Bennett, today the Eastside Grand Restaurant ordered 50 pounds of ready-to-steam fish packs. You've got to prioritize me. The head chef's back there hounding us. He's about to flip the table.
Don't worry, Pete. I've already packed them at the bottom in the ice baskets. Lily, help Pete carry the big barrel onto the cart.
Hurry up! Since I started working for Arthur, my commission alone last month came to a full $300. Compared to being stuck at the Vance seafood station, this is more than 10 times better. My husband, he brings me water to wash my feet every day now.
You bet. As long as everyone works hard and stays honest, Arthur never shortchanges any of his own crew.
2 months already. After deducting labor and freight for fish collection, the net profit is nearly $30,000. Plus Clara's main store in South Bay, the cash flow is finally stable. But seafood processing just provides cash flow. It's not a big game. What can truly turn the Davis family around is what's under those reef waters, growing like crazy in the dark water, the pearl raft spinning silk.
Arthur, look, here are my detailed accounts from the past 2 months in South Bay. Our main store at the alley entrance is totally solid now, but just one store can't swallow up South Bay, such a big market. I want to open 2 new stores in South Bay, one planted in East Side and one deep into South Side's factories. Take over their kitchens and staff quarters completely.
That just popped into my head, a business concept. Clara's execution, compared to any highly paid elite team I hired in my past life, is faster, more precise, and more ruthless. Go for it. Spend whatever it takes. The 2 new stores in East Side and South Side are all yours to run. From now on, you're in charge of the stores.
2 whole months. You just watched that hillbilly Arthur turn into Mr. Davis around town. Now a dozen key fishermen in the village all went to work for him. Our seafood station's catch is dwindling day by day. How did I raise such a useless son?
Mr. Sterling, that Arthur has already opened 3 shops in South Bay. 2 months ago, he was just a nobody who couldn't even afford his mother's medical bills. Now he's climbed right over me.
I heard he's recently been making a big splash about pearl farming.
Right. In the reef waters outside the village, he built a whole row of large wooden rafts, all with net cages hanging inside.
Pearl farming is an interesting game. Selling a few dead fish and shrimp, I don't bother, but the pearl line has huge profits behind it. Bring a few more men tonight and figure out his operation size and specific coordinates. Most importantly, check whether he has the county's special approval and a formal lease contract. Arthur, you think you've really won? You've only won the petty profit from selling fish.
In this big game of Southern Pearls, without the government's official document, you can't handle it even if your life depends on it. Cover all flashlights with black cloth. Move quietly. If you alert Arthur's night watch tent, I'll skin you alive myself.
Don't worry, Mr. Vance. The oars make no sound in the water. Tonight the waves are rough, so even the gods won't know.
Did you count them all in this row? How many big net cages are there?
4 large grids, exactly 48 old oyster cages. Coordinates 110 degrees 24 minutes east, 20 degrees 8 minutes north.
That's enough. As long as we prove he illegally occupied international waters without approval procedures, Mr. Sterling can make one call and have the county blow up his rafts on the spot. Let's head back.
Victor, you are indeed up to no good coming to scope out Arthur's territory.
Arthur, that reef area has always been an unmanaged, dangerous reef. You want to sign an exclusive management contract? But that big subsidy is not easy to get. By the rules, you first need a certificate from your village committee, then wait for a meeting at the station, and finally pay the full amount of $5,000 in site usage fees.
Here's $2,000 as a deposit. I'll follow the process however it goes. I'll cooperate fully, not a cent short. But the registration and documentation must be filed today.
We can file it, but whether it gets stamped depends on the higher-ups. A lot of people are eyeing this spot.
In my past life, Victor used the excuse of unlicensed occupation and illegal construction to destroy my very first Southern Pearl testing ground. This time around, I will absolutely not fall into the same hole twice. Victor, you want to fight me for this turf? Let's see if your hands are faster than my knife.
Arthur, someone filed a complaint against your rafts for occupying the collective fishing area. Besides, Vance Seafood Station has also submitted the same exclusive lease application, and they're willing to pay in full $20,000 for 5 years' rent.
Director Smith, that patch of ragged reef land in 30 years, even a dog wouldn't step foot there. How come it's a fishing area now? That's the Vances talking crap. 22 fishing families in the village are jointly vouching for Arthur. He's not grabbing land. He's finding a way for the whole village to survive.
Director Smith, the Vances have money and connections, but I've got this. This is from the past 2 months, the real income of the dozen-plus fishermen who've been working with me. 2 months ago, their average monthly income was under $40. Now, each of them pockets at least $300 in pure profit. What the office needs is a leader who can double the town's total aquatic output. I can put it in writing. Within 1 year, the fishermen working with me will pay the office triple the management fee in full. You're better at math than me on this deal. Deal.
Victor, we've got trouble. Just got word from the office. Arthur has gotten the exclusive rights to that reef area for 5 years signed and sealed. The stamp's already on it.
Arthur. I handed out so many gifts and you dare to steal my deal?
Clara, these are the fresh shrimp supply orders for the 2 new stalls in Eastside next month. I've priced them according to head office rules and reduced the price by 1 cent. What do you think?
Mr. Jones, 1 cent off isn't enough. You also need to give full weight. The 2 new storefronts in Eastside and Southside open tomorrow. If there's any problem with the goods, you won't be getting next month's final payment.
Clara, don't worry. Everyone in South Bay knows you're the most reliable, Clara. Not a single slip-up.
Grandma said before she passed that this is my mom's family's old shop. The Bennett family has been in the jewelry and Southern Pearl business for 3 generations. Then something went wrong and the family broke apart. My mother eloped to a fishing village. Grandma shoved the address into my hands, saying that if one day out there I couldn't make it, I should come back and find the Bennetts. Arthur's Southern Pearl rafts have just been launched. My own 3 seafood shops have just gotten on solid footing. I can't go in there now. I'm not ready yet, and I absolutely cannot cause trouble for Arthur right now.
That figure, that stubborn temper, she's just like her biological mother, Ruth. I've waited a full 20 years, and the Bennett family's bloodline, I finally found it.
Only a month, and the nacre's already this thick. At this rate, in a 1.5 years tops, we'll harvest the first top-grade Southern Pearls.
Arthur, that old bastard Leo is throwing a fit every day now. Since our processing plant expanded, his fish supply has been cut in half.
Uncle Pete, this is just the beginning. 2 things next. First, Get vacuum packaging equipment at the processing plant to directly supply all major supermarkets in South Bay. Second, add 3 more rows of pearl rafts.
That soon, Arthur? We got enough cash?
The processing plant is covered. Pearls are a few grand short, but we can phase it. First, order the timber.
Arthur, don't start counting money yet. I've fished for 30 years. This muggy heat and this black seawater are a bad sign. Your rafts out there, can they handle big waves?
This sky, it's coming back to me. In my past life, it was this exact month that a sudden super typhoon smashed the East Coast without any warning. Boats from several villages all capsized. Dad and Tom in that typhoon died out at sea. Only Tom's body was found. Dad left nothing behind. This time they didn't go far, they lived. But if the storm hits, what about my pearl rafts? The 20-plus families working with me, what about their wooden boats? Excuse me, sir, could you check the records to see if over the past couple of days near South Bay any typhoon warning has been issued?
You're overthinking the typhoon. The latest reports are crystal clear, the weather is stable, and the whole sea is suitable for fishing without even a single big wave.
The resolution of current weather technology is too low to predict these sudden typhoons that come out of nowhere. That devastating storm in my past life happened because the forecast didn't keep up and caused so many deaths. Since I've been reborn this time, I won't let history repeat itself. Dad, stop scrubbing. Quick, tell everyone to pull the boats ashore. The weather is changing and a huge storm is about to hit.
Arthur, what nonsense are you talking about when the sun is so scorching it could kill a dog with not a single cloud in the sky? So where is this wind coming from?
Dad, look carefully at the color of the seawater because normally the nearshore water is blue-green. Today it's tinged with a layer of brownish yellow, indicating that the deep sea tide is already churning below. Look at the seagulls in the sky. There hasn't been a single one all day today, and when seagulls don't fly, that's God's warning to living creatures. And look, for those wooden boats docked at the shore, their waterline is 2 full inches higher than yesterday, which means the air pressure is dropping like crazy.
Are you sure? Arthur, because this concerns the lives and property of over 20 households in the village.
Dad, I have never in my life been so sure. Quickly notify everyone, because if we're late, it'll all be lost. Listen up, everybody. From now on, all boats are locked in the harbor. No one goes out to sea. For those already at sea, use signal lights and radio now. Even if you've cast half your net, you must cut the ropes and get back here.
Arthur, what's gotten into you? The sun's scorching hot. There's not a single cloud. And you want us to take a day off from fishing? Our families will starve tomorrow.
And my big catch is supposed to go directly to South Bay this afternoon. 1 day's delay and fresh seafood turns to dead fish. You going to cover that loss?
Arthur, the administration office hasn't issued a storm warning. You're making dozens of families stop work. What if you're wrong? That'd hit everyone's pockets hard.
Uncle Pete, do you trust me? In the 2 months you followed me, have I, Arthur, ever cheated you all out of a single penny? Every word I've said, hasn't it all come true? I know you don't believe me, but I'm making a written pledge. If I, Arthur, today misread the weather, the cost of these days' lost work, and the value of lost goods, I will personally pay in cash to cover every cent of your losses. But if I'm right, what you save isn't just boats, it's your family's lives. Today, my father's boat is also locked in the harbor. It will not go to sea.
My son says don't go out. Today, even if the King of the Sea shows mercy, I'm not going, no matter what. Miller, you've been out at sea most of your life. Today, give me a straight answer.
My life was saved by the Davis family. Give me the ropes and weld them to the dock. Not one Miller family boat goes out.
Arthur must have too much money to burn. That's why they're following him in this madness. Cast off, boys.
Arthur is playing tricks, thinks he's the king of the sea or something. Such good weather and we don't go out? What do fishermen do? Drink seawater to grow. Those who believe him have a screw loose. That's right. This guy is afraid that today will steal his thunder, so he's screwing with us. Spread my word. All boats under Vance Seafood Station, a dozen steel-hulled boats, will all go out today. Whoever catches the most fish today, I'll double their pay when we return. Anyone who dares to be a coward gets kicked off the docks tomorrow. Hey, Mr. Davis, soaking up the sun? Tying rope. These rotten logs of yours, what a piece of junk you've built. One sneeze from God and it'll all be smashed. Still just firewood.
Arthur, listen to me. You'd better tear down these rotten logs, sell them as firewood, and get a few cents for salt.
Uncle Pete, your son has you out here on a sunny day tying up logs in the harbor, too scared to go out to sea. Aren't you ashamed? I'm embarrassed for you.
Victor, weather's about to change. You'd better radio now and order all your boats back.
Call them back? Your brain waterlogged? Look at the sky, not a cloud. You're the only one in town playing fortune teller, scaring yourself. My 3 large steel boats just filled up with fuel, and my cousin is leading them to the deep sea fishing grounds. When he comes back fully loaded, making a fortune, you'll still be soaking in this water.
That traitor.
4 hours from now, the sky will turn completely lead gray. 6 hours from now, the wind will hit force 8. Victor, your 19-year-old cousin, is heading right into the center of the storm.
Weather's changed. Arthur, every word you said was right on the money.
Arthur, you said this morning the weather would change. Did you already know that a big typhoon was coming? If you knew, why didn't you stop me this morning?
Let go.
Did you know how strong this typhoon is? When you had the boat stocked this morning, you already knew everything, didn't you? My cousin is still out on the boat. He's only 19 years old.
Mr. Vance.
This morning, when you came to our raft, what did you say?
Clear skies, a single wave could shadow your boat.
You also said when your cousin returned with a full load
and made a fortune, we'd still be soaking in the water. So where's your cousin now?
We advised you to keep your boat docked this morning, but you called us cowards.
You said it yourself. Anyone who believes Arthur
must be out of their minds.
Arthur, I'm begging you. I'll get on my knees for you. Please help me find them. You know this ocean better than anyone. I'm begging you, please. My cousin is only 19.
Your cousin's boat was heading southeast toward the offshore fishing grounds, right?
How do you know? Yeah, it's the deep water area in the southeastern corner.
In the southwestern corner of that sea area, there's a large protruding reef. It's called Turtleback Rock. When the waves crash over, the lee side of the reef forms a small patch of calm water.
This kid actually remembers that reef.
If your captain has over 20 years of sailing experience, he'll definitely steer the boat there. Within a 20-kilometer radius, that's the only lee slope that can save lives.
That place is indeed the only shelter.
How do you even know that?
This kid really knows the sea.
I was born and raised in these dark waters. I know where every reef is. I can find them blindfolded. Uncle Pete, that big motorboat of yours, can its fuel tank handle it?
Arthur going out now is gambling with our whole family's lives against death himself.
I'm not going out to the open sea. We'll sail to the outer edge of the harbor to the tip of the stone lighthouse. That's the highest point. Crank the walkie-talkie's booster to the max and call out. If they're really at Turtleback Rock, they'll definitely get the signal.
I'll go with you, even if it costs me my life. Let's set sail.
Vessels near Turtleback Rock, please respond. This is the fishing village dock. Please respond. Vance Family Steelboat, please respond.
Copy that. This is Vance Boat 2. We're at the leeward side of Turtleback Rock. All 3 boats are here. A big wave killed the engine. We can't get back. Arthur, help us.
Listen up. Northwest of Turtleback Rock, there's a hidden passage through the reefs, wide enough for just one boat. Wait for the next big wave, and the moment it drops, follow that passage and paddle full speed out of there. Skim the coastline going north and enter the harbor from the north entrance. That's the lee side, calmer waters. Got it?
Roger that, roger that. Northwest passage, north entrance into harbor. Victor, if it weren't for Arthur giving directions on the radio, we'd all have died tonight in that reef trap.
Glad you're back. Glad you're back.
Victor, these men came back alive today. Not because you knelt down, but because they got lucky. One more hour, and not even a god could have saved them. This morning, when you were standing by my raft flicking cigarette ash, your cousin's boat was already heading into the storm. You personally sent your own cousin to his doom. Uncle Pete, add more weight to the ballast tank. Use the pig iron to anchor it down. The rope is about to give. Dad?
You reckless old man! Are you trying to get yourself killed? Why are you staying out in this storm? For that wreck of a boat?
You're a woman, what do you know? The boat is my life. If we lose the boat, the whole family will be eating thin air.
Mrs. Davis, don't worry.
In my past life during this storm, Dad and Tom never made it back. Back then, no one gave them a way out. No one called out on the radio to warn them. They could only, in endless darkness, wait desperately through the night. What they finally got were the crushing waves that shattered the boat. But in this life, Dad is breathing right next to me. Tom is chatting with everyone. Mom's inside, yelling at the top of her lungs. Clara is covering the family with blankets. They are all the people I, Arthur, care about most in this life. All of them are here. Right in the eye of the storm is where my first pearl raft lies. The triple-layered anti-corrosion steel cables I reinforced, will they hold up? Can they survive this brutal night? After daybreak, this sea will give me my answer. Leo and Mr. Sterling, if God doesn't take me, then it's my turn to come for you.
God bless.
There are no empty shells among the sunken ones. They're all there.
Arthur's precious nets down below, are they still there?
Uncle Pete held on. Everyone made it.
Arthur, I used to be scared of the Vances getting back at us. I just kept my head down. If it weren't for you yesterday, those 7 villagers would have all been swallowed by the sea. From today on, the catch from my 2 wooden boats all goes to your processing plant. Anyone tries to stop me, I'll fight him to the death.
Yeah, we're with Arthur. The Vance family is nothing special. Follow them and you'll end up a sunless loser sooner or later. The Vances are doomed anyway.
Everyone's right.
The Miller family's 3 motorboats.
From now on, wherever Arthur points, they'll go. It's all over.
Arthur, the processing plant and the pearl raft, are they all okay?
They're fine. The rafts are safe. Most importantly, everyone is here.
Why are you smiling so weird tonight?
Because in my past life, when the same storm came, I lost everyone I cared about in this ocean.
Arthur, what are you babbling about? What past life? This life? Did you catch a cold last night from the wind at the lighthouse?
I'm not crazy. It's just that everyone's alive and well, and that makes me happy.
Arthur, hurry and bring Clara back for a bowl of hot fish porridge. Since last night, you haven't had a single grain of rice in your stomach.
Arthur, get out of the wind and eat.
This life's trial, I've overcome it.
The porridge is getting cold. You 2 brats, come back quickly. If you don't come, the porridge goes to the dogs.
Starting today, the Vance family's purchase price goes up another 10% cash on delivery.
Boss, there's no use shouting. Everyone says they're working for Arthur now. Not only do they earn more, but most importantly, they don't have to put up with our family's sour faces.
Over 30 key households from the whole village have come over. The 3 Fishwife seafood storefronts we opened in South Bay easily exceed $10,000 in monthly profits. But that's just enough cash flow to keep things running. It can't grow big. The capital that can truly turn my life around and swallow the entire South Bay market is still growing under the sea. In another year, the first batch of top-grade southern pearls will be ready. But during this year, Victor and Mr. Sterling will never leave me in peace.
Arthur, something happened in South Bay. Our second branch in East Side was trashed early this morning.
Where's Clara?
Clara tried to protect the ledger, and those thugs hit her hand with a stun gun.
Who did this?
3 guys in black masks, carrying steel pipes, came in without a word and started smashing. The grocery store owner next door said after the smash, they hopped into a black van with no plates.
Definitely not Victor. After that kneel at the docks, he doesn't have the guts. It's Marcus behind it. Since the typhoon passed this week, he hasn't made a move. It's not like he's decided to let me go, but he's been watching me from the shadows, waiting for me to let my guard down to take a big bite out of me.
Who's there?
Mr. Sterling, your men trashed my shop in South Bay today, and they hurt my people.
Yo, Mr. Davis. What shop got trashed? South Bay's not safe. You must have pissed off some people in the trade. Don't blame me for that.
Mr. Sterling, there are only 2 reasons to trash a shop. Either you want to scare me off, or you're holding some cards to force me to negotiate. 3 o'clock this afternoon, same tea house as last time. If you don't show tomorrow, I'll put my entire processing plant into South Bay. We'll take off our shoes and stomp around in this mud pit. Clara, take 2 girls and stay in the shop. Find 2 carpenters this afternoon to fix the door and scrub the floor.
Arthur, where are you going this afternoon?
Tomorrow at 5 in the morning, this shop opens for business as usual. I want every supplier on the street and that little punk Sterling to see for themselves that trashing the shop changes nothing.
Arthur? You're a real wild card. You called a typhoon on a clear day, and you even brought Victor to heel. Fish collection, vacuum processing, direct supply to supermarkets, all in one smooth flow. But today I'm here for just one thing. You throw money into retail and bypass my channels to buy fish. I can put up with these small moves. But going behind my back to cultivate southern pearls, I can't tolerate that.
Do you even know how big the southern pearl market is? Do you get it?
One top-notch southern pearl goes for several $1,000s in Newland. That's tens of millions of dollars, even hundreds of millions. A blazing hot industry. You, a little punk crawling out of a fishing village.
Your teeth are too weak.
You can't swallow it.
Here's my deal. I take 60% free shares in the pearl rafts. You provide the tech and the exclusive maritime operating rights you've got.
I put in the capital. And the government-backed channels in Newland.
In my past life.
That's the exact tactic Sterling used.
A dirty trick. Borrow a chicken to lay eggs. On the surface, he put in money for a big stake. Once the farm grows big, he'd cook the books, find an excuse to boot me out. The first Southern Pearl company I built from scratch ended up in Sterling's hands. In this life, you still want to pull the same get-something-for-nothing trick on me?
Mr. Sterling, I've got a condition for you, too. 0 equity. If you want a piece of the pie, wait till my pearls are harvested, and you can be my secondary distributor.
Arthur. That exclusive operating contract of yours was approved by the town fishery. In this town, with just one word from me, I can turn it into a worthless piece of paper.
Mr. Sterling. Then here's one for you. The last guy who tried to take what's mine. On a typhoon night in the mud at the docks, knelt for 2 hours straight. You can go try it now, and see if your kneecaps are as tough as Victor's.
That ungrateful punk. Mo, go. Use every connection in South Bay right now and keep a close eye on that lease contract of his. Even if it's just a typo, find a loophole in it.
Yes, Mr. Sterling. What about the Vance family?
Go get Leo, that little punk, and bring him to me. Even though the Vance family lost face at the docks, they've been running things in town for 20 years and their connections are still strong. There are dirty tricks Arthur won't see coming. and we need to use Leo to pull them off.
Arthur, don't say I didn't warn you. Someone ratted you out. They said when you got the exclusive operating rights, the approval process was incomplete. You skipped the open bidding step. We have strict orders from above. The contract must be suspended. That piece of Reef Waters needs a notice of retendering and suspension.
Director Smith, when we got those approvals, we followed all the rules.
Arthur, watch your mouth. This isn't just Leo's idea. Mr. He and Mr. Sterling from South Bay personally made the call. You've messed with the wrong people. Once the open bidding starts, they'll outbid you and take the waters. Those rafts you have in the sea must be dismantled and sunk by the deadline.
In my past life, my Southern Pearl testing ground was lost exactly like this. Mr. Sterling pulled every string he had to torpedo my contract. Then, with all his money, he won the waters through open bidding. Back then, I had no money, no connections, no backing. I could only watch helplessly as my hard work was stolen. In this life, the little bit of cash flow I have from selling fish is nowhere near enough to go toe-to-toe with a multimillionaire like Mr. Sterling. In town, I have no foundation either, but I have a trump card none of them have. I know that beneath those waters lies a massive fortune worth tens of millions. Mr. Sterling is just greedily guessing, but I'm 100% sure. He thinks he can crush me with money in the retender. Fine. Then today I'll find someone richer than you, more powerful than you, a mountain of support, and crush you alive.
Arthur, you were up all night. The town council paperwork is totally jammed up.
Clara, you told me before that on her deathbed your grandma said, your mother was from the Bennett family in South Bay.
Yes, that's what Grandma said. Arthur, why the sudden interest?
For 3 generations, the Bennett family has been operating between the southern region and Palm City, running the province's biggest jewelry and southern pearl business, right? Mr. Sterling wants to pull a one-shot deal with me and use his money to grab the sea area. Now we're done begging the town council. Clara, pack your things, take your grandma's address. We're going to South Bay Arcade Street to bring your maiden family back home.
Arthur, my mom took off on her own back then. She had a falling out with the family. After all these years, what if they won't accept me?
Clara, look at me. You're not here to beg today. You're here to reunite with family. The Bennett family has been in the pearl business for 3 generations. As long as you set up a shop in South Bay, along with our top-notch oyster farm, they will never let this opportunity go.
Kiddo child, you look just like your biological mother, Ruth. God has answered my prayers. Finally, I've waited for the Sioux family's only descendant. My real name is Henry Gibson. I was your grandfather's last and most trusted apprentice. Later in Newland, I ran a jewelry business for 20 years. In my later years, I returned to Palm City and have been quietly keeping an eye out for any news of the Sioux family's descendants.
Mr. Gibson, what about my grandfather and the others?
The Sioux family ran 3 generations of southern pearl trade in Newland. Your grandfather was the head of the family. After your mother eloped, we lost contact. Your grandfather was heartbroken and passed away a few years later. The business in Newland was divided among the partners, but there's one thing no one could take away. In the Southeast Asian southern pearl industry, the Sioux family built up over 3 generations a stellar reputation and top-tier connections. Your grandfather was a director of the Southern Jewelers Association. Those all-powerful big shots overseas still firmly remember the name Sioux to this day.
Mr. Gibson, with the Sioux family's golden reputation, plus the piece of Reef Waters that yield top-quality southern pearls in my hands, Mr. Sterling from South Bay and his cheap tricks are probably coming to an end.
Young man, Marcus Sterling of South Bay, is connected with both cops and criminals, ruthless. With just a few beat-up rafts and some smooth talk, you want to borrow the Bennett name and go head-to-head with him.
Mr. Gibson, you've been in the jewelry business in the South for 20 years. Take a look at this.
The luster, the thickness of the nacre, these are top-grade, flawless southern pearls. Wild mother oysters in Palm City went extinct a long time ago. Where did you get them?
Right from the area I leased, that dangerous reef area. Underneath are 30-year-old undisturbed oyster beds. I used advanced techniques to build large artificial rafts. In just 1 year, we can harvest hundreds of perfect pearls like these.
Ruth, do you see that? Your daughter has brought back what the Bennett family wants most. Right here, what your grandfather searched his whole life for, the ancestral southern pearl bed, has been found by your granddaughter. Arthur, don't worry about the retender. What Marcus is doing is just some petty, underhanded tricks. Since that sea now belongs to the Bennett family, tonight I'm sending a telegram to the Southern Chamber in Newland. Bennett Southern Trade Co. officially reopens today. First thing tomorrow morning, I'll personally take the Provincial Foreign Investment Inspection Team to the town administration office. In the name of an overseas businessman's hometown investment and saving heritage Southern pearls, I'll have that sea area designated as a key foreign invested protected project.
Don't worry, Mr. Sterling. Director Smith has already pinned the suspension notice right on Arthur. At tomorrow afternoon's public auction, once your funds arrive, Arthur's rafts will be immediately deemed illegal structures and smashed to pieces.
Good work. Tell Director Smith that after it's done, he'll get 10% free shares in the South Bay plant. Arthur is just a little punk who can't make waves. Tomorrow at the auction house, I'll break his spine with cash.
Arthur, after tomorrow, I'll make you kneel at the docks and pay back yesterday's debt 100 times over. Mr. Sterling, Director Smith has arranged it. It'll be held in 3 days, a Marine Resource Utilization Symposium.
On the surface, it's to standardize cultivation, but actually I'm going to announce in front of the whole town that Arthur's contract is invalidated due to procedural flaws. Retender.
What if that little punk battles us on the price? Battles?
My bid this time is 3 times higher than his. With absolute financial power, Director Smith has enough reason to award the waters to me. Leak the news to Arthur. I want him to watch with his own eyes, his own lifeblood being taken away by me, legally.
Yes, Mr. Sterling.
Arthur, this is outright robbery. Rebidding, it's obvious that Sterling and Leo set this whole thing up.
In my past life, Mr. Sterling used this trick to drive me to a dead end. Public symposium, financial crushing, connections in the town council. He thinks he's sure to win. But he would never dream that I'm waiting for him to blow this up. The harder he pushes, the harder he'll fall. Uncle Pete, don't panic. To the symposium in 3 days, bring the 35 fishing households in the village that cooperate with us. Not a single household can be missing.
Arthur, what are we going to do there?
To watch this show.
Waste of time even coming. My bid is 3 times higher than yours. Director Smith is already taken care of. Today is just a formality.
A complaint's been raised. Arthur's contracted sea area has procedural flaws. Suggest a retender. Now let's hear from both sides.
I, Marcus, am willing to pay $30,000 a year in rent to bid for a 10-year lease totaling $300,000. Plus, I'll invest at least $500,000 within 3 years for development. Arthur, how much are you bidding?
Mr. Sterling's promises are grand. But let me ask you all something. If his $800,000 comes in, will any of you see a single cent? He is a wholesaler. If he gets the sea area, the pearls will only go through his personal stall. You won't get a dime. He'll also fence off the entire sea and keep your boats away. But if the sea area stays in my hands, every cooperating fisherman will be a shareholder of the pearl factory. When the pearls come out, the profits will be shared proportionally. This is not my sea alone. It's the sea of our whole village.
Exactly. Why let the capitalists gobble it all up?
Enough. Business is about strength. Southern pearls are export goods. You, a little punk, got international channels without big channels. What you cultivate is nothing but a pile of worthless dead oyster shells. Ha. Mr. Sterling, open your eyes and look. This is from the Southern Pearl Trade Bureau, an official reply from Star Jewelry of Newland. This is from Star Jewelry, a letter of intent with deposit. Prepaid $50,000, equivalent to nearly $200,000. Already secured the priority purchasing rights for the first batch of Southern pearls. It's stamped with the official seal.
The second letter, letter of intent from Maya. The third letter, letter of intent from Ivory. 3 countries, 3 jewelry giants. Mr. Sterling? What were you saying to me just now? Channel gap?
This is impossible. You, a broke fisherman, how could you know jewelers from Newland?
My name is Henry Gibson. Bennett's Southern Trade Co., the oldest Southern Pearl brand in Palm City. Bennett's has been operating in Southeast Asia for 3 generations. Star Jewelry and Fang are our old customers. Mr. Sterling, you want to compare channels with Bennett's?
This sea area now involves a major foreign-invested cooperative development project. According to regulations, sea areas with foreign investment intentions should not change contractors. The town council decides to maintain the original contract, which remains in effect.
You...
Mr. Sterling.
Forget it. Let's go.
Clara. Did you hear that? Your granddad's century-old brand. We got it back today.